Hello, and welcome on back to Heard It in a Love Song, the show where we take a trip to the past to discover the history of a love song we all know and love. This week, it's April Fool's, and I wanted to do something a little special, so we're taking a look into the history of a fake boy band, 2Gether, with a real hit, Calculus. But first... The world was recently introduced to 4Town, a boy band in the universe of the phenomenal Disney Pixar film Turning Red. The band, who is composed of Jesse, Ty Young, Robert, Aaron T, and Aaron Z, had all their music written by the brother-sister team of Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell. And it's easy to see why May and friends are so obsessed with 4Town, because their hit song, Nobody Like You, slaps harder than Will Smith.
I never met nobody like you.
And while 4Town is definitely the newest addition to the family of fictional boy bands, they are by no means the first, and won't be the last. On July 12, 2000, the 8th episode of Season 4 of South Park aired. Entitled Something You Can Do With Your Finger, the world was introduced to a hot new boy band called Finger Bang, consisting originally of Eric Hartman, Stan Marsh, Kyle Broflovsky, and Kenny McCormick, who, after his death, would be replaced by Randy Marsh. Their one and only hit was the titular Finger Bang.
I'm gonna finger bang bang you into my life. Girl, you like to finger bang and it's alright.
In the 14th episode of Season 12 of The Simpsons, New Kids on the Block, which aired on February 25th, 2001, saw Bart Simpson, along with Milhouse Van Houten, Nelson Muntz, and Ralph Wiggum, joining a boy band called the Party Posse. Their main hit, Drop the Bomb, ended up being revealed to be a recruiting tactic by the Navy. Released on April 11th, 2001, Josie and the Pussycats was a live-action take on the animated series of the same name, and it introduced into the world the boy band Du Jour. Du Jour consisted of Travis, played by Seth Green, DJ, played by Donald Faison, Les, played by Alexander Martin, and Marco, played by Breckin Meyer. Their huge hit was a filthy play on words called Backdoor Lover.
I'm your backdoor lover.
With writer-director Deborah Kaplan being quoted as saying, "We tried to sneak in a certain level of filth there just because that band was so ridiculous." In the November 2002 Season 7 premiere of King of the Hill, in an episode titled Get Your Freak Off, both Hank and Bobby bond over the somehow shared love of a boy band called Fourscore. Hank likens the band, who is made up of Chris, Calvin, Cool Chris, and Todd, to a doo-wop band. But in typical Hank Hill fashion, he is appalled when he realizes they are not a doo-wop band, but a gyrating run-of-the-mill boy band. He is fooled by the opening lyrics to their song, Kickin' It in Heaven.
Hey, that's Todd. In heaven. Well, this sure is some good old-fashioned music. Todd, what are you doing?
Season 2, Episode 24 of Kim Possible, released in April 2004, saw the introduction of Oh Boys, consisting of Robbie, Ryan, Dexter, and Nicky Nick. The band is kidnapped by Senor Senior Senior and Senor Senior Junior, but managed to escape with the help of Kim and Ron using their song Quit Playing Games With My Head.
Playing games with my head. I'm a sponge, but I'm not a toy.
In Season 3, Episode 14 of That's So Raven, her scheming and plotting ends up paying off as she gets the band Boys in Motion to perform their titular hit, Boys in Motion, at Bayside High.
Boys, we are the boys in motion. We give you our devotion. Boys, we are the boys in motion.
Season 4, Episode 71 of SpongeBob SquarePants finds Pearl Krabs fed up with having 15 horrible birthdays due to the cheapness of Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob, being SpongeBob, ends up finding a way to have Mr. Krabs foot the bill of the appearance of the boy band Boys Who Cry, who show up and play It's All About You, Girl.
It's all about you, girl. On your 16th birthday.
American Dad's Season 8 episode, Can I Be Frank With You, finds Steve Smith and friends being recruited into a mega band called Boys 12, who had the following members.
Georgie, Kelsey, TJ, Parker, Steve, Snot, Victor, Abraham, Boris,
Abraham H.
and Constantine. Let's hear about the boys.
Bad boy.
Japanese.
My sister died.
I'm sweet. I can sing. Gorgeous.
I'm the 8. I've got the penis of a man.
My parents got divorced.
Hypoglycemic. I'm grumpy.
I'm sleepy. And together we are Boys 12.
And of course, the boy-obsessed Tina from Bob's Burgers was gaga over the Season 3 Episode 21 introduced boy band, Boys for Now, who consisted of Griffin, Matt, Boo Boo, and Alan. Their biggest hit was I Love You So Much, It's Scary.
My teeth are extra sharp, my body's extra hairy. I'm running in the dark. I love you so much, it's scary.
And even James Corden was in a Fabricated boy band, Boys Unlimited. But I did zero research into that because I fucking hate James Corden.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But today we are here to talk about a boy band that I don't hate. One created for MTV, a 5-piece ensemble called 2Gether. In the late 90s and early 2000s, boy bands were absolutely demolishing the charts. But like any Goliath, there was a David waiting in the wings to take them down a peg. That David came in the form of a parody band that actually became just as popular as the bands they were spoofing. To MTV's credit, they decided that a spoof of the very boy bands that they played day in and day out would be a great idea. And spoiler alert, it was. They decided a behind-the-scenes film of the making of the band was the way to go. So they recruited 3 men to bring their vision of a boy band that could compete with the greats to life. Those men being Brian Gunn, one of James Gunn's brothers, their cousin Mark, and famed director Nigel Dick. Now, we've talked a little bit about Nigel Dick before in the Britney Spears episode as he directed the Baby One More Time video, but in addition to that video, he also directed Filming took place at Bridge Studios in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. Loads of well-known TV shows and movies have been filmed at Bridge Studios, including
40 Days and 40 Nights.
John Tucker must die. All right.
Jumanji.
Can I rely on you not to get me killed?
I guarantee nothing.
With a budget of $3 million, with inflation that's a little over $5 million in 2022, production was finished in time for a February 2000 release date. Released on MTV with no commercial interruption, the story followed Bob Buss, played by Alan Blumenfield, manager of the famed fictional boy band Whoa, who had a stranglehold on the charts with their hit Rub One Out. However, Whoa, along with what is effectively the villain of the movie, their assistant manager, Mole Davies, played by Tyler Levine, kicked Bob to the curb, and after a night of drinking, Bob decides that isn't where his career is going to end. He stumbles upon Jerry O'Keefe, played by Evan Farmer, his first recruit of the new band he is hoping to put together. With Jerry on board as the heartthrob, they have 7 days to find the remaining 4 members before the gig that Bob was able to book for them. And those pieces fall into place with the bad boy, Mickey Park, played by Alex Solowitz, the shy one, Chad Linus, played by Noah Bastian, and the older brother type, Doug Linus, played by Kevin Farley, Chris Farley's brother. And their final member, Jason QT McKnight, played by Michael Cuccioni, aka the Little One. QT was also a draw for them as he had a terminal disease, the fictional biliary thrombosis, which mirrored the actual real-life health conditions of Michael Cuccioni. who had Hodgkin's lymphoma. He actually beat the cancer, but it left him with extremely weakened lungs and a bevy of health problems. The third act conflict comes in a form of clashing heads, as it quickly became apparent that there were two heartthrobs, Jerry and QT. Their first gig was a disaster. They play Say It, Don't Spray It, but QT takes over Jerry's solo, which throws Jerry off. QT actually passes out, and the band gets booed off the stage. Jerry heads back home to Boston, and the band, with their tails tucked between their legs, follows suit. However, a pit stop at a gas station changes everything. While buying snacks, Woe shows up and starts shit, and when they leave, the few fangirls that they did have there quickly turn on them, cluing together in on the fact that Woe actually lip syncs. The finale is Bob and Jerry's girlfriend Erin working to sabotage Woe's soundboard and reveal to the crowd that they are fakes, setting up the perfect introduction to 2Gether and their new song, You Plus Me Equals Us, Calculus. More on that in a bit. The parody worked. Well, much more than worked, it brought actual fame to 2Gether. Their debut album made it to number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100, and they even got the opportunity to open for Britney Spears, which was huge because she was a giant at the time. Hell, they even had their own dolls. They released their second album, 2Gether Again, in August 2000, with the lead single, The Hardest Part of Breaking Up is Getting Back Your Stuff.
The hardest part of breaking up is getting back your stuff.
The success of the movie led to a 2-season TV show. A show that could have possibly lasted a lot longer if it weren't for tragedy striking. In December 2000, Michael Cruciani was in a small car accident, but given how weak he was, the accident forced him into the hospital where he caught pneumonia. He spent his final Christmas and New Year's in the hospital before passing away on January 13th, 2001. 8 days after his birthday. He was only 16 years old. During his life, and since then, he and his family started the Michael Cruciani Foundation, which helps fund childhood cancer research. But let's take it back a bit to talk about their biggest hit, You Plus Me Equals Us.
Well, I've never been good at history, and I don't give a crap about Robert E. Lee.
It should come as no surprise that much like their forefathers, 2Gether had a team of songwriters that came together to write the songs for both of their albums, Calculus included. And that is the team of Dennis Lambert, Tony Battaglia, Brian Kurloff, and Josh Schwartz, under the name KNS Productions. Together, they have wrote or co-wrote
Ain't no woman like the one I've got. We built this city on rock and roll. Someone save me if you will.
I wanna be bad, make that look so good. Swear that I'm telling you the facts, 'cause that's how I beat Shaq.
The song is a tongue-in-cheek, almost modernized take on Wonderful World by Sam Cooke, with both songs speaking on how the narrator is not good at school, but is good at loving their object of affection. In a moment of perfect improvisation, they actually came up with the song while relaxing in a hotel room on their way to Jacksonville.
You guys, am I losing my hair?
I'm losing my hair, and my vision is shady.
Last night I dreamt of an overweight lady.
But I need a young thing to keep up with my pace. I got this. So hold me in her arms and take me straight to second base.
Yeah. Bridge?
I got it. Check it out. I know my calculus. It says you plus me equals us.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. 1, 2. I know my calculus. It says you plus me equals us.
And while it failed to chart, it did make sure that 2Gether had a history that would not be forgotten. Hence me, 22 years later, waxing poetic about them today. Calculus comes in at 114 beats per minute. It's bizarre to me that a completely fabricated band can have such a chokehold on pop culture, but it is something that keeps happening and something that I don't foresee ending anytime soon. Calculus is great because I think that we've all been in a romance where we may not be great at a lot of things, but we are great at loving our significant other or others. This week's Love Homework is another love song by a fabricated band, and is quite possibly my favorite boy band song of all time, All or Nothing by O-Town.
'Cause I want it all or nothing at all.
And that's it, the end of another love song history lesson. If you like what you learned and you'd like to continue learning, subscribe, hit the bell, drop a like below, and join me again next week for the history of a love song we all know and love. Until next time, remember, you, +, me, =, us. And remember, you heard it in a love song.
Everything in life, you can look at it negative or positive. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Be positive.
Not once did he crumble. He literally worried about us till his last breath. He even said he was sorry to each and every one of us in the family.
And you gotta persevere. And if you do that, dreams come true.